Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Nick at barbend.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Original Alpha's Gx7 Pre-Workout. So the Original Alpha, sometimes just called Alpha, is a relatively small supplement company based in Florida. Right now they just sell two products. One of them is a fat loss supplement made with Garcinia cambogia, and they also sell this here pre-workout in two different flavors, raspberry and watermelon. I've got the watermelon flavor here. I'm going to see how it tastes with water. It's pleasant. It's not that sour like a lot of watermelon supplements are, watermelon-based supplements. Yeah, it's good. It's a little bit fizzy, it's sweet, it tastes like candy. It's nice. So let's take a close look at the nutrition and the ingredients. So there's actually no information here about the calorie count, so I'm not sure how many calories are in the product. But besides that, the first thing I usually look at in a pre-workout is the caffeine content, and this has 250 milligrams of caffeine, which is about a little over what you'll find in 2.5 cups of coffee, which is pretty high. I mean, normally it's like 200 milligrams in a pre-workout. So pretty high in caffeine. In addition to that, let's see, it's got niacin, it's a B vitamin, 25% of your daily intake. There's a pretty good dosage of beta-alanine, which is linked to endurance. There is citrulline malate, which is linked to circulatory health and blood flow. You get 1.5 grams of that. There's L-carnitine, which is linked to improved blood flow and focus as well. And there are 750 milligrams of that. You've also got the taurine, which may help, it may draw water into the muscles, so it can help with muscle cramps and may improve anabolism as a result, maybe. In addition to that, you've got theobromine. That is an alkaloid that is found in chocolate and tea and some other areas. It's also linked to cognition and focus, which a lot of people like to take that with caffeine to help improve their focus and maybe reduce the jitteriness. That's an effect that some people feel it has. There's also a good amount of yohimbine, which is a stimulant, which is also pretty strongly linked to focus and energy levels. There's 3 milligrams in that, which is a good amount, but some people, they experience digestive distress and headaches with yohimbine, so you make sure you might want to try it first. After that, there is mucuna, which has a 20% L-dopa. Mucuna is a bean extract, and it's actually pretty strongly linked to improved hormone levels in people with certain deficiencies or illnesses that affect their hormone levels. So like adrenaline, testosterone notably, and some other hormones, it can help normalize that, but most of the studies are limited to people who already have disorders with those hormones. And that is about it. Also, lastly, there is arginine alpha K. This is a type of, arginine, which is an amino acid. It is sometimes used in supplements. It's intended to help increase strength, but the studies are really mixed with that particular supplement. That is about everything we've got here. One thing I really like about this is that a lot of supplements include ingredients like this with pretty small doses, just so the name is on there, but most of these doses are quite high, which I found pretty impressive. Other than that, there's just the other ingredients. Natural and artificial flavors, sucralose, calcium citrate, and silicon dioxide. Those are just anti-caking agents. And finally, there's red fruit dye number 40. There is no acesulfame potassium, which is a kind of controversial artificial sweetener in this product, so that might be important for you. So as far as the price goes, this top here is 30 servings for $30, so it's $1 a serving. So that is on the higher end of pre-workouts, but it's not very high. Honestly, most pre-workouts, they kind of range between $25 and $30 per 30 servings. So even though it's a little bit more expensive than some, it's not outrageously expensive. It's about as much as Optimum Nutrition's gold standard pre-workout. So what I liked about Alpha's Gx7 Pre-Workout, I like that it has a pretty strong dose of caffeine, so that should really definitely give you a bit of energy. I also like that, as I mentioned earlier, there is a really good effective dose of a lot of these ingredients. Like carnitine, for instance, I've had a supplement recently that had 150 milligrams of that in a serving. Most people want like at least 600 milligrams in a serving. That's what most of the studies say, and there's a good 750 milligrams of carnitine in this. So that's just one example. Most of these are very high in most of the ingredients. So a lot of these ingredients are pretty strongly linked in certain studies with endurance and focus and things like that may help a workout. So I find that pretty interesting. Other than that, mostly it just does not contain any soy, it doesn't contain any gums, and it doesn't contain any acesulfame potassium. So that might help certain users who try to stay clear of those products. The main things I didn't like quite so much about Alpha's Gx7 is it is a little bit expensive relative to other pre-workouts. It also does contain artificial sweeteners and artificial flavors, which might turn off some users, even though it doesn't contain acesulfame potassium. Finally, although I was very impressed with the majority of the ingredients as far as dosage, there are a couple of ingredients, namely taurine and theobromine, that was a little bit low in, so I thought it could have had a little bit more in that regard. Alright, those are my thoughts on Alpha's Gx7 Pre-Workout. For the full review, you can check that link below at barbend.com.